the deal involving Šeško to Arsenal. This is what he's had to say on Sky Sports.
Leipzig very open to sell him. It's a very good atmosphere, positive atmosphere. The player is very respectful towards all the parties involved. I'm totally convinced.
That freeze right at the most important moment.
I'm totally convinced that Sesko will play for Arsenal in the next season.
Ooh. I know. Totally convinced that he'll be an Arsenal player. I mean, that's as close to a confirmed deal without getting a here we go as you can get. He's very credible in Germany. Do you see this one happening?
Well, I do now. I mean, I've got to say, I would have gone Gyökeres over Sesko if I was an Arsenal fan, and I don't know what Arsenal fans think, but I think it's right to go after Sesko, and his goal record's very, very good. And Leipzig had a terrible season last year, and he still scored a lot of goals. But Arteta wanted this player in January. I think he wanted him last summer. So you've got to give the manager what he wants. I think Man United should have took the money for Bruno, but Amrin wanted Bruno. So the right decision is to keep Bruno, regardless of what I think or any other fan thinks. And Sesko, Arteta wants. So you can't be in a situation where next season Arsenal don't win the league and Arteta gets sacked and then he goes, but I didn't want Gyökeres, I wanted Sesko. You give him what he wants, and if he fails, that's how it works. So, I mean, look, he's a bit young. I think next season Arsenal need to win the league. I don't think they can afford to have a striker that needs to adapt, but he does score goals. So, yeah, I mean, give the manager what he wants, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I prefer Gyökeres, but this comment here from Goldbrdge in Scotland says goals in Germany over goals in Portugal.
Nah. The German league's crap beyond the top six. I remember Terry Ten Hag. Eric Ten Hag, because it's Terry. I remember Eric Ten Hag saying that. And look, the reality is goals in the Champions League are the same as goals in the Champions League. Gyökeres has scored goals in the Champions League. Sesko has scored goals in the Champions League. They're both very good strikers. I would be very happy to have them at Man United. I think they both do well at Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle. They are top tier strikers, 100%. This is not a shit striker against a good striker. It's a choice. You make the right choice. I think Arsenal have got to back their manager, and that's what they're doing. And it makes it interesting next season if United do get Gyökeres and we see a battle on who scores the most goals.
Yeah, do you remember that summer when it was Lukaku, I think it was Morata and Lacazette joined Chelsea, United and Arsenal, and there was that whole who's going to come out. I always feel in that debate, I feel like we all lost, personally.
Lack of threat, yeah.
Yeah, lack of threat. Lukaku had a good 6 months and Morata was just woeful, but I remember that was when no one cared. That was when you could just do a transfer video. Everyone knew that we were fan channels. You'd go, this report has been put out. No one went, what's the source? Is it a tier one? Oh, I don't like that newspaper. Oh, why are you making it up for? I used to love transfer stuff back then. It was just when no one got, that was before I think certain YouTubers, certain content creators got no traction. So they started slagging off people that did transfer stories. I don't know if you ever saw that. It was always really weird. It was like they'd hate them. But speaking of Arsenal, what's your take on all this Zubimendi stuff? Because for about 3 or 4 days, Real Madrid went absolutely crazy on the PR that they were coming in for him. They were going to steal him from Arsenal. But Fabrizio's retweeted the here we go. Sammy McBell has confirmed that legal paperwork has been signed. And then there was a big Ornstein bomb this morning to say Arsenal expect for pre-season. What do you make of the meltdown and panic from some quarters of the Arsenal fans?
I mean, he's a fantastic player. If he was signing for Man United and you felt he was going to sign for Man United and then Real Madrid come in at the end, I've got to admit, Terry, I would panic because he's a good player, very good player. I mean, he nearly went to Liverpool last year. And to be honest, some of his comments were a little bit praising of Alonso, weren't they? So I think Arsenal fans, in fairness, had a bit of a right. I mean, I looked at it and went, but he's signing for Arsenal. Everyone's saying he's signing for Arsenal. And then you look at some of the comments from him and you go, So I think it's nice for Arsenal fans that they've got that reaffirmation this morning that, he is going to sign, because I think he's a really, really good player. And I don't know why Real Madrid can't hijack it, but maybe it's been advanced for a very long time. But yeah, it'd be a good player for the Premier League.
Yes, yeah. Listen, I think it will happen now. I mean, if he changes his mind, if he somehow gets out of this, I wouldn't even put it on the journalists. They're only reporting what they're being told by Arsenal, but it would be a PR disaster to lose him from this point with everything that's been said, everything that's been done. But yeah, I was more in the other camp. I just couldn't believe the meltdown from. It's not the worry. I get the worry and a bit of panic, but it was almost the way I saw some Arsenal fans attack their club, like they'd actually lost him. And it was like, well, this is coming from like Real Madrid PR. There's no other credible sources anywhere in the world stating that it's remotely true. Like, calm down a little bit. But they had a tough season, I suppose. They had a tough season. In relation to Arsenal, this really links into them. It's an update here from Fabrizio Romano in relation to Garnacho. Let's take a look at what he said, people, and let's get Mark's reaction to it.
Because my understanding, as we said with our bomba of the day a few days ago, is that Garnacho will leave Manchester United, so he will go for sure. It's a plan shared by the player, his agent, and also Manchester United and the coach Ruben Amorim after what happened in the Europa League final. So Garnacho is leaving, and I keep receiving information that Garnacho priority is to stay in England. So the player would love to continue in Premier League in a different club. I give a 35% to Chelsea today, because for the Club World Cup I don't see this happening. The priority is Bano Gittens from Borussia Dortmund, but Garnacho remains a player appreciated by Chelsea. There are more clubs interested in Alejandro Garnacho. Bayer Leverkusen called, but again, Premier is priority, and so let's see if some other English club will also try to enter the race for Garnacho.
So he's saying maybe Chelsea are looking. There was a report yesterday from Argentina to say that Arsenal are also in the hunt for our player Garnacho. What's your thoughts on that, mate?
I was just trying to think. Did he say bomba?
He said he said they dropped a bomba that Garnacho would definitely leave. Yeah,
that's not his. That's not your thing, mate. You're not allowed to do that. That's Ornstein's thing. Leave it. But no, I was just thinking about Romano. People take the piss out of him, but I've got so much respect because he does so much. He's got his own YouTube. He does about 3 websites. He's got his X. He's got Instagram. He's now doing this on DAZN. I mean, how do you get your mind to go, I've only got 4 stories. I've got to make them cover about 9 hours of content a day. And he still manages to do it. The interesting thing about Garnacho is, he talks about Bomba. It was the United stand the morning after the Europa League. I said 100% he is leaving, and that was from somebody very close to the situation. So, but in fairness, they told me Napoli. So I don't know. I would respect the fact that Garnacho wants to stay in the Premier League if that's true, because the press over here haven't been great with him. Half the United fan base doesn't like him. He's not the sort of player that in the English game stereotypically is going to be adored. So to stay in the Premier League, I just think the easier option, and we all know the Italian league's a little bit slower. I think he'd tear it up in the Italian league, and Conte would be good for him discipline-wise. So I think that's the right move for him. But the fact that he wants to stay in the Premier League just gives you a hint into the personality that he actually is quite driven. He never gets injured. He always wants to play. And there's obviously a lot of work to do on his talent and his attitude. But I said yesterday, I think if an Arsenal did want him, I actually think under Arteta with discipline and a better team, I still think there's a very, very talented player there who has probably been dragged down by the shit that United are. So I don't know that Chelsea's the right move for him, though. That just sort of feels like that could go south. But if it was genuinely an Arsenal or maybe even an Aston Villa under Emery, a club that's got a little bit of discipline and structure, and maybe Chelsea will have that, but I think even a Chelsea fan would say it's not a club of consistency structure at the moment. So